my side.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Speaker. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak on this motion where put forward by the Prime Minister, which reads that at the end, that at the adjournment of the Parliament on Monday, the 17th June 2024, the present meeting shall conclude and Parliament shall then stand adjourned for the day. With that, Honourable Speaker, I would like to join the other colleagues in this House with my people of South Choiseul constituency to thank you for your re-election into this Honourable House, as this is your second term in the office, Speaker of Parliament, and I know that you will operate the utmost in fairness in deliberation value in that chair, Mr. Speaker. And also on this juncture, I'd like to thank and acknowledge the Prime Minister for his election as our new Prime Minister for this 12th Parliament. Also, Mr. Speaker, I'd like to acknowledge all the elected members in this House for your election, and I wish you all the best as we all continue to dialogue together and work in our capacity as the member for our respective constituency. For that, I'm looking forward in working with all the members, respective, regardless of which side of the House that you sit in, and that all, regardless of our political affiliation and contribution, we will debate robust. And already, as you may look him go finish inside of this for the House, we have witnessed how this session will take us into. That's the right way that we are going in terms of our deliberation in this Honourable House. I would like also to use this opportunity, Mr. Speaker, to acknowledge the staff of this Parliament for their work, especially for Mifal new MP for coming inside and at least showing us how things have been done in the Parliament, especially the business of the Parliament. For that, I am forever grateful to thank them for the staff of this Parliament. Mr. Speaker, it is with great pride and humility that I can stand here to deliver my inaugural speech and also to contribute towards this motion with a Member of Parliament at this 12th Parliament. Representing my good people of Lauru, especially South Choiseul, I would like to take this opportunity to thank everyone from the South Choiseul constituency for your trust and your belief in me that I can represent you in this Honourable House. And I am duty-bound to be your voice and also to take it seriously as a role of being the Member of Parliament. My victory belongs to myself, but it belongs to all of my people in South Choiseul, whether you vote for me or not. It shows that it's a testament of our shared vision, hard work and dedication to create a better future for everyone in our constituency and also our province as well, and also our nation. Therefore, I am committed to work together to address your concerns. We advocate for our needs and bring about positive change to the people and communities in my constituency. Therefore, I want to thank you all for your unwavering support and your belief in our mission and for standing with me throughout the journey. Together, we will strive to make our community stronger and a place where we're proud to call home. On this juncture, Mr. Speaker, I wish to also extend my heartfelt gratitude and appreciation for the outgoing member of my constituency for his dedicated service and also his unwavering commitment to our people and community. I know during his term in his office in the last Parliament, he is marked with significant achievements and efforts to improve the life of my people in our in the constituents or in our communities in South Choiseul. For that, I am grateful, and together, on behalf of my people, we would like to thank him for his exceptional service to the people of my constituency. On that note, Mr. Speaker, I'm also privileged to be selected by the leadership of the Government of National Unity and Transformation to select me to be the Minister of Education and Human Resource Development, for that which I'm honored to be offered with that ministerial portfolio, because education has always been part of me. Since I completed my tertiary education as a teacher, as a secondary school teacher, being an educationist, I see this portfolio as a passion which I have for education, and believe that in the role of education to develop and to attain skills and knowledge of individual Solomon Islands who can go through this education system so that they are prepared for life, and most importantly, the socio-economic development of our country. Mr. Speaker, I have come to realize that education sector in the country is an area where there is no shortage of recommendation and critics of our education system, which often express what each government through the Ministry of Education should do or not. Those who have vast interest in our education system, they propose bold new ideas from think tanks and dominate headlines, exciting research by academics, always filling inside of the conference floors and walls, and the innovative thinking from classrooms. Teachers, they get talked about various in medias, in any other platform, including social media. On that note, Mr. Speaker, my ministry, the Ministry of Education, now is collaborating with the Solomon Island National University, which they will be hosting a national education conference next week, Wednesday, the 19th, and Thursday, the 20th, to be held at the conference. The conference will be held at Sine, organized by the Sine National University in cooperation with our Ministry of Education. And during this conference, it will include a keynote address. There will be panel discussion, paper presentations, workshops, and even poster sessions. This conference will ensure, to give us coverage, and it will give us, it will cover 5 different themes, Mr. Speaker, and those themes. Firstly, the theme that will be covered in the conference that will be held is the rethinking curriculum and the pedagogy for sustainable education. And the second theme is promoting indigenous knowledge, culture, and language in education. Third, strengthening teachers' capacity and professional development for sustainable education. Fourth is to enhance access and inclusivity in education for underprivileged and marginalized groups. And finally, the theme that will harness technology and digital tools for sustainable learning. And finally, collaborating with local communities and stakeholders for sustainable partnership and support research and evidence-based practice in sustainable development. Therefore, here, Mr. Speaker, as a Minister of Education and Human Resource Development, I am expected to play a very key role in shaping educational policies and oversee the education system in the countries. My key responsibility as the Minister, Mr. Speaker, is firstly to ensure that we have effective administration of the new Education Act 2023. And also to ensure that policy formulation and decision making as stipulated by the Education Act 2023, and to ensure strong governance over the educational policies, regulations, and system across the country. Also, my responsibility covers to ensure that the Ministry of Education and Human Resource Development budget is developed annually and to cover funding for schools, teacher salaries, training of scholarship programs, teachers' professional development, curriculum development projects, and administration of national exams, assessment for monitoring of students' learning, and also responsible to provide oversight of macro-level guidance and to support tertiary education institutions in the country. And finally, but not the least, is to promote equity and inclusion so that all children in this country are able to access equality education. As a member of the ruling government, Mr. Speaker, of the Government of National Unity and Transformation, I do not accept the education portfolio, not just to enter into this House with narrow policy, no, but we rather have a broad policy, and I assure this House that I will do my best and to improve the opportunities, all right, that must be given to our children and the citizens so that they can receive a education, not only education, but a quality one, all right, and training to all levels of our education system. In particular, it was pleasing me to be the member of the ruling government that not only will I continue with ongoing education reform that my ministry is undertaking currently, but also to commence a new education program and projects that will enhance access to quality of education and effective management and the resource provided in our schools around the country. Mr. Speaker, I strongly believe that there is no better way or better tool in life than that can transform lives for our people, especially young people, than a good quality education. As I mentioned earlier on, Mr. Speaker, being an educator by profession, I have the passion to practice, which I practice every day. And if I can recollect my thinking back to my early childhood, it shows that, you know, I have a vivid kind of a reader up to these days, yeah? With that, the certain developing image are developing certain literacy skills at an early age. Mr. Speaker, as the government, through my ministry, we have a responsibility, all right? And the responsibility is to ensure that all students studying at schools across the country are given the support and guidance required to develop both strong literacy and numeracy skills. I am aware of a great achievement by my ministry through the teachers, which have made a term of year 4 and year 6 primary pupils' performance in the South Pacific Literacy and Numeracy Test. It shows that the Government of National Unity and Transformation will support current efforts that focus on literacy and numeracy so that these fundamental building blocks are properly mastered in every of our primary schools throughout the country. Mr. Speaker, this tells us that literacy and numeracy are a government priority. From there start, as I know, the stronger our programs are, the more future opportunities is laid ahead for our children or our students in the future. Mr. Speaker, given this the 100-day policy which was launched yesterday, my ministry is taking this new direction and obligated to focus on 6 specific or 6 key projects which we put forward that we will try to achieve over this 100-day policy statement. We state, number 1, Mr. Speaker, further advance the new teacher salary structure, all right, for implementation in 2025 budget. All right. Number 2 is to review the current school education grant policy. All right. Number 3 is the development of school infrastructure plan 2025 to 2029. Also, in our 100-day policy, we are looking at developing a tertiary student loan scheme, to review the South Choiseul Act 2017 to amend the provision to cater for the scholarships. And finally, to review the Education Act to incorporate the TVET. So there, Mr. Speaker, apart from these 6 projects, may I also put to this House, my ministry has been mandated to implement 4 other key programs which are also aligned with the current reform. Yeah, all these programs, they have a duration between 5 to 6 years and are funded jointly by our development partners and our own national government. And basically, as we all know, that the bulk funding, of course, comes from our development partners. For that, I wish to thank our development partners for their ongoing support in our education sector. Firstly, Mr. Speaker, the program which currently implemented is the Senior Secondary Education Improvement. All right, this project, this is a $400 million Solomon project. All right, and this project has 3 key objectives. Number 1, it revises and modernizes the secondary school's education curriculum. Yeah, for instance, the Form 4, 5, and 6, this will be a national reform. And once completed, the new curriculum will be introduced and taught in all our senior secondary schools across the country. This curriculum, I believe, it will prepare students, yeah, not only for academic, but we believe it will prepare them for employment in the future, climate resilience, economy, and also a lifelong learning, and include key areas such as climate and disaster education, conflict resolution, computer literacy, gender equality, and the 21st century skills such as critical thinking, problem solving, and teamwork. The second objective under this program is that 1 schools in each province has been selected for target interventions, right? And that aim is to increase access to place for students in year 10, 11, and 12. This program will be in a form of classroom, learning space, ablution blocks, dormitories within agreed budget. All right. And third objective under this program, the professional development of teachers to teach the revised curriculum. And this project will begin as we speak. The project is currently operational by our ministry now. Secondly, the second program under this our Miki ministry is the System Transformation Project. This project is mainly funded in the form of grants by the Global Partnership for Education, known as the GPE. And the project is an attempt to improve the systems, such as education management, information system, assessment systems, teacher management registrations, implementation of the education legislative framework, and other systems that the education systems operate systematically and efficiently. The third other program our ministry engaging now is under the program which they refer to as the Education Sector Support Program, known as the ESSP. This program, in collaboration with the government of Australia and New Zealand, are currently developing the next education support, sector support program in very close collaboration with my ministry for the next period from 2025 to 2029. And this to support the ministry with its current reform program, mainly to improve the quality of education, school infrastructure, and teacher professional development and learning of our students. And finally, the fourth program which my ministry is currently implementing is the implementation of the Education Act 2023. My ministry has commenced the Education Act as of 1st of January this year. Mr. Speaker, for the past 3 months, The senior management team under my ministry, along with the subcommittees of the education legislative framework, have prepared the groundwork to socialize and implement the Education Act and the subsidiary legislative and the policy document. Yeah, the key targets for the education legislative framework are education providers. Yeah, education providers, which in the past we know as the education authorities. Also, the education legislative framework also involves the teachers, the principals, and the other education stakeholders. A series of capacity building workshops on the education legislative framework are currently or are being planned to be held in all the province as well as Honiara. Mr. Speaker, my ministry now is working very hard to implement this act going forward. Why education is so important in Solomon Island, Mr. Speaker? It is the recognition that educated populations is essential, yeah, to our country's prosperity, which has been very long known to our leaders from all walks of life. However, the real challenge is financing. To finance the education sector to enable us to meet the needs of the mass population, especially our children and students, to access quality education, not just education, but a quality one. Also, apart from accessing quality education, they need to gain knowledge, skills, and attributes that will prepare them to be actively participants in the social and economic development of our country. Mr. Speaker, education is perceived not just important for Solomon Island economic development, yeah, but it's also critical to the promotion of our social mobility, peace, and harmony in our communities. Therefore, increasing the amount and the quality that the mass people receive, enabling them to transform their life outcomes, is a critical and important for our country. Mr. Speaker, let me reiterate the sentiment that is always mentioned when peace is talked about in our country, that there can be no real peace in the country without the development, and no development without peace. Education is thus perceived as the unifying force that has the potential to transform peace-loving citizens of our country to develop their resource and prosper. Thus, it needs us to hugely invest in the education sector. All right? In fact, it is widely recognized that no country can achieve sustainable economic development without sustainable investment in human capital. We are all converts of our education system. Education enriches our people's understanding of themselves and the world around us. It improves the quality of their lives and leads to a broad social benefits to individual and society. Thus, despite the many challenges in terms of financial resources, Mr. Speaker, that we encounter, the National Unity and Transformation Government will make a sizable investment in the education sector during its term in office. And that is basically to improve access to quality education. Mr. Speaker, as a new elected member for South Choiseul constituency, I would like to reiterate my call, which I initially made to my people of South Choiseul, to support me in our development goals. Let me say to my people of South Choiseul, as you know, as a new member of the Parliament, I feel that I have a responsibility to make sure that I shall be passive as a voice for all the people of South Choiseul and also people of Lauru as well. And that I should keep the issue that matters most to this Parliament a top priority for me as I sit in this Honourable House. Mr. Speaker, allow me, before I finish, I'd like to just draw to this Honourable House on behalf of my people, that I'm very passionate to see that the need for upgrading of our existing social service infrastructures, including health and education, to be at our top priority, so that our people can have access to these two very important services. All right. And secondly, I want to put to this House that I'm very passionate about support our province needs to relocate the Choiseul Bay PSS. Already, the school, as you all know, the school is currently, will be moving to a new site, which the provincial government had already allocated about 25 hectares of land. All right. For information of this House, and the members of Parliament, the current site where the Choiseul Bay PSS is currently located, that one will is already in a new township by Ports below Choiseul. No, that one is. So the school has to be relocated. All right, and I'm very happy that my ministry has already received the designs for that new Choiseul Bay PSS. Just for the information of this House, only Choiseul Bay PSS is the only school in Choiseul that provides Form 6. All right, so this one is critical, and it's important for my people of South Choiseul and also Choiseul that we see that the relocation is moving, and the ministry now is currently looking for funding, all right, to fund the relocation. And as a member for South Choiseul, I am passionate to see that this thing is happening, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, my final point here, on behalf of my people, MEHRD Lodiswala House would say that infrastructure is important. I'd like to reaffirm that my people of South Choiseul also would like to have those kind of infrastructure, because those infrastructure helps people to be also economically viable in their doings, especially in my constituency. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, we see that certain major infrastructure such as having another airport built in the middle of Choiseul, which is right in my constituency. All right, and also the idea of having connectivity or road connected to this airport and other infrastructure. This will be a positive thing for my people to see, that at least we have this infrastructure there, so that they can be involved, in economic activity as well. So, Mr. Speaker, I'm keen to see that this kind of these infrastructures are or is going to be built within my, and I am appealing to my people of South Choiseul, please open up your lands. Right, time you become for building more kind of infrastructure, make sure that you willingly open your land for this sorts of development, whereby I'm happening inside the constituency or province below me. Mr. Speaker, I am honored to stand here today as an elected representative of my people of South Choiseul. It is a privilege that I cherish and will do whatever I can to help my people in terms of development of my constituency, which I have stated earlier. And during my time in office, I will always remember that the journey and the people who get me here, and will use this example to guide me in my role, including the support from the leadership of the Government of National Unity Transformation. As an educator, Mr. Speaker, I would like to continue to read widely and to educate myself, including to acquaint myself with the current reform that my ministry continues to implement, so that every decision that I make in this make as a capacity as a Minister of Education, and the MP for South Choiseul will be an informed one. And I will hope and have the hope, the courage to leave my safety net and try new things or do things different and still achieve the same outcome. And I promise not to be afraid to make tough decisions for the greater good of my people. And I will respect the significance of my role as a Minister of Education and the responsibility that comes with it. With that, Mr. Speaker, I thank you for giving me this opportunity to contribute towards this motion, for which I will now resume my seat. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honourable Minister for Education and MP for South Choiseul. As I made the statement.